climb the tree where this elephant carcass is, because when Brent went up, Brent was the first one to go up the tree, of course, and it's a funny thing because Brent went up first, like I say, and as he got up there, he looked down on his shirt and he just had Hosana fur all over his t-shirt as he went up into that tree. And so he has been up there, and I know a lot of you were saying he should climb the tree for the camera, and hopefully he will. Now, for those of you that were also inquiring about the camera as to where it is in relation to this carcass, basically it runs from the tree at the top there, and then the cable runs, it's up there somewhere, is the actual little radio receiver. It's quite well hidden. There it is. So there's the little radio receiver that talks to the Gari mast that's going to be able to push the signal out of the camera. The cable then runs from there through the tops of this Maruda tree and then along and down into this tree over here. And the camera is sitting just over there and has got a full view of pretty much the carcass and the innards and everything like that, and it will be able to show as much as we can. It's not a huge field of view, and it's not actually able to be moved around, but we positioned it that we have the best possible view of the elephant that we can try and get. Obviously we didn't want to mess around here too much and disturb too much, so we just try to get it so that it kind of views the elephant and anywhere where there could be potential feeding action. And so that's where it is, and hopefully it's going to provide some serious entertainment for everybody, and that you guys will be interested enough to watch in the wee hours of the night when we've all got our eyes closed and see what comes in here. I would be shocked if we didn't get something interesting. I think we're going to get something very interesting from this camera. I think we might even see something like little slender mongoose scavenging off this, or something like that, something random that we don't think often happens. Now, while our Hosana decides to start having a nap, I believe Brent is still with the Nkuhumas, and they seem to be still napping as well.
I just still can't believe how well that wound has healed. It is incredible. From what it was when Tristan sent me pictures of it to now, it's just unbelievable. Now, what I am really hoping that camera catches is going to be right when the dregs of that elephant remain. There's almost nothing, and I'm just hoping that a random brown hyena appears. That's what I really want. But I've seen quite a lot of elephant carcasses in my time. Quite a few of them in northern Botswana, all from natural deaths, either old age or fighting with between elephant bulls. But also I've unfortunately in my time seen quite a few poached carcasses as well. Now, around those carcasses, because it is such a huge amount of meat, you get some very strange things appearing. Now, on elephant carcasses, I have seen slender mongoose scavenging. I've seen honey badger scavenging. I've seen civet scavenging. What did you hear, ladies? Please tell me it was a buffalo. I've seen Selous mongoose scavenging. I'm just trying to think what else. I've seen baboon, bush pig, warthog, all scavenge off elephant carcasses before. So, who knows what unusual and amazing things we might catch on that camera. Temperature dropped quite a bit in the last 5 minutes. Oh, shame. Broken right canine, upper canine, it looked like there. And some of these Nkuhuma ladies are going to start getting quite old. Well, not start getting, they are starting to get quite old. There we go, you can see, there we go, you can see that broken canine quite clearly there on that individual. And you see she has had a bit of a box. There's a bit of swelling on her nose and a bit of a scuff there. Whether that is from tangling with the evokers or just tangling around a carcass, it's impossible to say. Quickly across to Tristan.
Come in, check. Now, poor Hosana was just about to come and start feeding. He had made it all the way to the head of this elephant and looked like he was about to start feeding, and then some of the bigger hyenas started to arrive, and as soon as he saw them, he gave weight and quickly moved off. Now look at the size of the belly on this hyena. This hyena has eaten itself silly. It is so full, but it is still going, and poor Hosana for now is just going to have to sit in the background and wait again and see if he can get some semblance of food a little bit later. But the darker it gets and the cooler it gets, the more these hyenas are going to carry on, and the more that they're going to be able to kind of feed off of this carcass, and the less chance Hosana's got. But he was just about to get in there. What's wrong, boy? Have you got something in your teeth? He almost looks like he was kind of just curling his lips back. Shame. He was, like I say, he was right here. He literally was about to feed. I was so excited because I thought he was going to get a little semblance of a meal, but it seems as though, unfortunately, hyenas have foiled his plan, and so there's a situation where he can't he's not going to get anything out of it, unfortunately, and so he's going to have to wait his turn, and hopefully the hyenas will back off eventually and he'll be able to get something out of it. Amazing his camouflage from here, though. You just see his ears kind of sticking up, and it's not like he's very visible at all. It's a situation where he kind of is hidden in that grass, and when it's zoomed in like that, you see him really easily, but actually he's quite well hidden, and if he drops his head a little bit and lies down, you really won't be able to see too much. And you can see he's watching all the vultures that are flying in over his head. There's a whole bunch of vultures that are around, and there you go, there's some vultures that are flying. Excuse the aerial, Dave is just showing you quickly some of the vultures that flew over, and that's why he kind of keeps moving his head, is because his the vultures come over and he kind of just watches them. I mean, vultures are big animals and they make a lot of noise when they fly, and so that's why he kind of has that sort of movement every now and then. There we go, he's up again and seems to be looking to the south. It's probably because we've got another vehicle that's joining us, so Aubrey's coming in, and that could be why he's just kind of watching. Also, hyena numbers are going to start getting more and more. So, book lover, this may be strange, but yes, I have seen people taking meat from an elephant carcass. There was an elephant that once got out of the Sabi sands and it died. Funnily enough, it unfortunately got tangled in the fence system on the western fringe, and there was a whole thing, and I can't even remember how it eventually died, but it did die, and it died right on the edge of the boundary. So half of it was inside the park and the other half was on the outside of the park, and a whole bunch of the communities in this area came in and they chopped that elephant up. In all of about 10 minutes that elephant had been distributed out and pretty much nothing left but bones. So people do take them. I'm sure Brent has got many stories of elephants being chopped up and people stealing, well, not stealing, but taking bits off a carcass, and so it wouldn't surprise me at all if Brent had seen it, and it does happen here in the Sabi sands, though very seldom. There's no one here that needs to come and get meat off of this carcass, and the animals are protected here, and so this is nutrients for the bush. It's a massive amount of nutrients that needs to be given back, and so there's so many things that will feed off this, make use of it, and that means that you're going to have a situation where we're going to try and not have people kind of coming in and taking food off the carcass itself. Now, I think Pretty has just arrived. It looks like her. She's the cleanest of them all, and she's just kind of gone behind. There you go. You just see her ears poking up. So I think she's just arrived. There she is. She looks like her, with very, very clean, no sort of cuts on her ears, and that light color. Oh, rib action. Look at that. So that's the first bone that's been removed from the carcass itself. So we haven't seen any bones actually being carried off. That's the first one, and Pretty's now got herself an elephant-sized rib, and she's not interested in that for now. It's now time to kind of get into where all the good meaty spots are, and she's going to probably start feeding. I think it's Pretty. I'm not 100% sure. Now, for those of you who don't know our hyenas, they've all got a couple names, and there's kind of a hierarchy system to this clan, and this particular individual is one of the higher ranking females in the clan itself. In fact, she kind of seems to be one of the top females, and if Madam's not around anymore, because I haven't seen Madam in a long time, which is the clan matriarch, then she might actually be the matriarch at this stage. When she ran in, everybody else just separated, and so it would be pretty much kind of I would think that maybe she's kind of on top of it. Now Hosana's slinking off in the background. You can see the vehicle in the background there. That's where he is. He's just kind of sitting and watching what's going on and just taking it easy. And the hyenas have now really started to kind of come in, and I think more and more hyenas are going to arrive as the sun starts to set. So we're going to see an increase in numbers, and poor Hosana is really not going to get anything. But the size of this one's belly is ridiculous. Oopsie, there it goes, disappearing. Are you going to sleep inside there? It literally has walked in and lay down inside there, so it's found itself a little elephant carcass bed, which doesn't sound very nice at all, and probably not going to make it smell very good. But if you're a hyena, I suppose this is just absolute heaven. You see it's actually gone on its side and is almost rolling around. I actually want to go back a little bit, Dave, so we can try and see what's going on inside there. Hopefully this hyena doesn't get a fright and move. So let's see. I'm just going to roll back. Hopefully this hyena will stay where it is. There we go. Inside all of the mess, you can see it's just rotten elephant carcass pretty much all around it, and it's just sitting absolutely loving it, having a bit of a pant. It really is lying down. It's actually not standing there. It's kind of curled itself up like it would be lying on a bed, which is a bit ridiculous in many ways, and the rest of them are feeding behind it. There we go. Look, you see, it's actually kind of getting itself deeper in there and rolling. Now, what are you doing, hyena? You're covering yourself in the smell of an elephant carcass. Mom wouldn't be impressed if it was a young one. Mom would be, what have you been doing? It's almost the equivalent of us going and rolling around in mud as kids when when you've still got your clothes on. You can imagine how much that must stink. That poor hyena, when it walks past any unsuspecting vehicle with some tourists in it, they're not going to know what's going to hit them, because the smell of that hyena when it walks past is going to be delightful. So it's amazing. I've had it many times where people are like, oh, hyena, amazing, or even male lions, because they also do it, and they say, oh, male lions, and then they come walking past and this putrid smell of rotten meat just comes following them. It really is quite funny to see people's faces as they do, because it goes from this kind of amazement and this happy demeanor to all of a sudden people just think to themselves, no, this is too much, I can't deal with this, and kind of then block their noses and kind of turn their nose up. It's quite funny. Kachina is salivating because he's excited. He's been chewing a lot of thick, dense skin, and or she, should I say? Actually, it's not a he. Anyway, he's been chewing a lot of thick, dense skin, and that means that there's a lot of saliva coming out. It's not because it's got any sort of disease or anything like that we need to worry about. It's just that it's kind of salivating at the thought of so much food, and also from chewing skin, they tend to produce saliva, and you see it kind of running out. It's very common in hyenas on big carcasses like this. You see a lot of saliva coming out of their mouths while they chew on these things. It's an interesting thing. I suppose they get kind of so hungry and so sort of hyped up by the fact that there's this bounty of meat that they then end up kind of foaming, or not foaming at the mouth, but salivating at the mouth. Very cool to see, though. Isn't this amazing? This elephant carcass is incredible, and the fact that we've been able to kind of follow it from day one, it's just been the most amazing thing. It's slowly but surely you can see how this animal's body is breaking down, and the amount that it's giving to everybody is amazing. We've had, Brent and I were talking about it today, we've had dung beetles, we've had butterflies, we've had flies, we've got, I'm pretty sure, carcass beetles somewhere in there as well. Then you've got hyenas, leopard, you've got vultures of all different species that are here, and so it's just an amazing thing as they go along. Now here comes another hyena that's arriving. Could this actually be Pretty? Difficult to say. Pretty, I know, has just got a really clean set of ears. So I thought the first one arrived, but this one is also quite clean. Let's see, maybe there'll be a bit of audio. Interesting ways to watch the dynamics amongst them. Now, Rebecca, sorry, can you repeat that question? I was so busy watching the hyenas coming in, I didn't actually hear what you said, I'm afraid. So Francis, at the moment they're not eating too much skin. They're targeting more muscle and fibers of the elephant, and trying to get as much of the meat as they can. But as it gets less and less, yes, they will start to eat the skin, and you'll find that sometimes they drag bits of the skin back to den sites for the little puppies to chew on, or cubs, should I say, to chew on. Tempers will start flaring. The more that come, the more tempers flare, and so cubs start to chew on that and start to really eat it, and then you get a situation where they can, especially if they're teething, it's a good thing for them to chew. So adults do often take big pieces of skin back, and they will eventually consume it. There won't be any skin left eventually. There might be a few little flaps here and there, but they will eat most of it, and it's all nutrients at the end of the day. And so when the meat's gone, the skin is left, then they'll start to go after that. How cool is this, though, to have so many members of the Djuma clan that we haven't seen in so long arriving back at a Carcass and seeing them again. I know a lot of you are big fans of the Hyena clans here in Djuma and follow them and have been missing them quite a lot, given that we haven't had a den site and it's been a little bit tough in terms of finding our hyenas. So it's really cool to see so many of the members that we've been missing for so long here at this Carcass and feeding and going crazy. So very, very good, and hopefully we'll see lots more of them in time to come. Now, Hosana's gone completely. I think he's actually about to cross into Little Gari. He's moved so far. So I think let's go get one last view of him, and while we and hopefully we'll kind of see him going down and maybe having a drink, and then we'll come back to the hyenas. The hyenas are not going to go anywhere. They're going to carry on feeding for now. So we'll just get one last view of Hosana, and then we'll kind of come back to these guys and see if we can get them. Good. While I do that, let's send you across to Brent, and so he can welcome the schools that are about to join us for the afternoon.
Well, a huge welcome to Lewis Elementary School. I cannot wait to hear all your questions, and as you can see how exciting, next to me are 11 lions. Isn't that exciting? My name is Brent, and my good friend Sebastian is on camera, and you're on your very own school safari. Now, we've got so much fun planned for you today. So we've got lots of lions, and as I said, I want to hear all your questions about what we've going to see on this safari. So let's have a look at the lions, and I want to ask you a question, and it is going to be a tough one. So I hope you guys are ready. I want you to tell me, are there any lions in America? In the wild, not in zoos, but are there any lions in America that are not in zoos, that are wild lions? I said it was going to be a tough one. But at the moment, these lions are sleeping. They're very hungry. They might get up and start moving in a little while and see if they can find themselves some dinner. There we go. Tired kitties. It's been very hot today, and lions don't like it when it's hot. They like to nap. So lions will nap about 20 hours a day. And just remember, there are only 24 hours in the whole day, so lions will nap for 20 hours a day. Aren't they lazy cats? This is a very beautiful time of the day, and when it gets cooler and not so hot, I'm hoping the napping lions will decide it is time to move. But at the moment, they are all very, very sleepy. Now, of course, we don't only get lions here, we get all sorts of other animals. Well done, Romo. You are spot on, 100% right. You don't get any lions in America. You're very clever. You get mountain lions, and mountain lions aren't actually lions. They're more closely related to cheetah. So well done, Romo. You are spot on. You get mountain lions or cougars, but they're not really lions. So very well done to you. You only get lions in 2 continents in the world. You get lions in Africa, and there's a small population of lions in India. So well done to you. You know your animals very well. So let's have a look at our sleepy African lions. I thought I was going to catch you, but Romer, you caught me. You're too clever. Now, lions live in family groups called prides that are made up of mommies and aunties and all their babies. And I'm going to tell you about the daddies just now, but first I'm going to send you across to my good friend Tristan, who might have another amazing animal to show you.
Well, we do, Brent. We have lots of amazing animals to show you. But before we get into any of that, it's hello from myself, Tristan, and from David, who's on camera. And it is a very warm welcome to you guys. I hope that you're having the most amazing day at school and that you're going to love your safari. Now, we are sitting in a place that is a little bit sad. And I'll tell you why it's sad is because a few days ago, we had an elephant that died. It unfortunately was killed by another elephant. And so it's died, but it's made a huge amount of food for a lot of other animals. And so what we've got is a whole bunch of hyenas that are eating this elephant at the moment. So I know it looks a bit scary, but unfortunately out here, some of the animals do die. They unfortunately can't live forever. And so this poor elephant died, and now the vultures and the hyenas are eating it, and they are making sure that they get all of that good meat to try and feed them and all of their babies and their families. So it's important that these animals come and feed off it. And even though it's sad that the elephant died, it's also going to be good for a lot of other animals because they're going to be able to eat a lot of it. The other problem that we've had is these hyenas just chased away a leopard. There was a leopard here, and unfortunately the hyenas chased it very far away and is now gone. We can't find it anymore. So unfortunately that's not very good. But the hyenas are going to eat and eat and eat and eat. They're going to try and get as much food in as they can. They're going to make sure that they fill those tummies as big as possible, because some of them might have little cubs, and their cubs will still be in a den, and the den might be very far away. And so they try and eat as much as possible to be able to then kind of provide really good milk and be able to give them some semblance of nutrition, and so that they can grow up nice and big and strong. It's an amazing animal, the hyenas, and all of these are female hyenas that we're seeing. They are, and except for the one young one that's just stuck its head up, but there's female hyenas, and they are the dominant force in the society. It's like at home, you know, mom is really in charge. Dad pretends like he's in charge, but mom is actually in charge. It's the same in the hyena world. The moms are in charge of what goes on, and they chase the dads and make sure that the dads do everything that they need to do. And so these are all the girls. And if there was male hyenas here, or boy hyenas, they'll get chased away by the females or the girls, and they get to eat first. And so they really are trying to get through all the thick skin. You can see, look at how much effort they put in to try and chew. And can you hear it? Sometimes you can hear them chewing. What they're trying to do is they're trying to use their big, powerful jaws to break off pieces of meat and bone that they can then eat. It's amazing how strong their jaws are. They've got the strongest jaws of any of our animals that we have here in this particular area that are on land. The other animal that's got very strong jaws is a crocodile, but that's in the water. But on land, the hyenas have the strongest jaws, and they're able to clamp down and break these big, thick bones of the elephant and get all the nutrients that is inside bone, because bone is full of calcium and it's got bone marrow that has nutrients in it as well. And so that's why they like to go after the bone even when there's meat as well. And they're going to eat and eat and eat until their tummies get so big that they can hardly walk. That's how hyenas like to feed. They like to make sure that they're as fat and as full as is possible, and then they can get as much nutrients, and then they kind of waddle off. It's very funny to watch when they have these big full tummies like this. Now, from one predator to another, let's send you across to Brent, who's got some very sleepy lions.
Well, these lions don't have big, fat, full tummies. They've got very, very empty tummies. They are very hungry. Now, lions are what we call carnivores, Emilio. And what carnivore means is meat eater. So lions are meat eaters, and that's why they eat other animals. Now, you have a few different types of animals. You have herbivores, which means they only eat vegetables, grass or leaves or fruit. That is a herbivore. A carnivore, a meat eater like the lions, the leopards, the hyenas. And then you have one other animal which is called an omnivore. And an omnivore eats both meat and vegetables. So an omnivore is a human being, or a monkey, or a baboon. Those are omnivores. Now, it looked like that lioness might have heard another animal close by, so she's lifted her head and she's looking over there. Now, a lion in this part of Africa's favorite food is a buffalo, and there were some buffalo not too far away from here earlier today, so maybe she heard the buffalo, which is her favorite food. Now, if you had to describe how much of a favorite it is, if you think of your most favorite food in the world, whether it be ice cream or chocolate, that would be lion's buffalo. Now, a very good question now from Romo. How big do lions get? Well, what we're looking at here is only female lions. There's one young male, but I can't see him. Now, female lions will get to about 120 kilograms, which is 250, 260 pounds. So they can get quite big, but a male lion gets even bigger. Now, they can get up to about 450, 460, 460 pounds. So they can get very, very big. And because they are so big, that means they like to eat big animals like buffalo and giraffe and zebra and wildebeest. Because living in a big family like that and being so big, you need to eat big things to survive. Now, as I say, they keep looking like they're about to wake up, then they go back to sleep, silly lions. Well, not silly lions. They're obviously waiting for something close by. Now, while our lions are very sleepy, Tristan's got the lion's worst enemy, who's very awake.
We do, Brent, and our the lion's worst enemy is still very active and all gorging themselves on food. Now, Lewis Elementary, we haven't heard from you and we'd love to hear from you. So remember, you must ask lots of questions. You just send them to your teacher and your teacher will send them through to us. And like I say, we'd love to hear all about what you guys are learning about, or if you have any questions about hyenas or dead elephants or anything like that, it would be good to hear from you. But there is another hyena that is approaching. You can see this hyena is a little bit more circumspect, or a little bit more nervous about coming in. It's probably checking out who is here. And like I was saying earlier, there's a very, very, very defined structure. So what that means is basically that there is a top hyena and then middle hyenas kind of come down, and then there's a very low ranking hyena. So she's right on the bottom. And so the low ranking hyenas have to wait for the high ranking individuals, so the top members, the matriarchs, to finish before they can come in and feed. And so that's why they'll just kind of sit on the edges. But it's amazing how one by one hyenas arrive. And I think that's why our leopard left, is because it saw, hang on, there's going to be so many hyenas here tonight that it's better for me to leave. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow and see what's going on in the morning. So interesting kind of behavior, and it's amazing to kind of see how it all goes. And I'm sure the other hyenas will start arriving, and maybe we'll even end up with more than what we've got now. I know that in this clan we could end up with easily 10, 11 hyenas here. So hopefully that will be the case, and we'll get lots of interesting behavior. So, Sinak, there was a jackal here 2 days ago when Brent first got here in the morning. Yesterday. Was it yesterday already? Maybe yesterday. It was yesterday there was a jackal, actually, and I saw a jackal yesterday afternoon. And so there is a jackal that's hanging around here, a blackback jackal that will come in as well. And so they are around. But when there's this many hyenas, it's really difficult for any of the solitary sort of predators or scavengers to get a look in. The only thing that would be able to challenge this many hyenas, particularly these big adult females like this, would be the likes of the Nkuhuma Pride or the Birmingham males. Now, this is really interesting. Look at how that hyena has already noticed there's something different about this area. You see it smelling where the camera is set up, and it's just having a little sniff. And so Brent and I made sure that we put some very heavy logs there, because we know what hyenas are about, and we know how when they get full tummies, they get curious and they get naughty. And that means that they go and bite everything. And so we've had to put lots of heavy branches because we know what they are like. So we're watching that hyena very carefully to see what it's doing. Now, Rudy, you have asked, how did this elephant die? Rudy, unfortunately, this elephant was killed by another elephant. So what happens is sometimes out here we have boy elephants that have to fight for an area or for females or for a mommy, and they will then try and chase each other. And what happened with this guy is a bigger bull elephant, so a much bigger elephant than what he is, with big tusks. Unfortunately, probably tried to chase him, and his tusk went into this elephant, and it hit him here underneath his arm, and it made a very big hole. And that hole, probably you find that the tusk went into maybe some of the vital organs, and unfortunately then killed him. So it might have hit the heart or the lungs or maybe the tummy, and that's caused this poor elephant to have bleeding. And because out here, it's not when an elephant gets hurt, it can't just go to the doctor. It has a situation where it unfortunately died. And even if it could go to a doctor, a wound that is that big inside of the tummy of an elephant is very difficult to fix, and it would be something that would be almost impossible for any vet to be able to fix on the elephant. And so that's how it died. But like I say, even though it's very sad that the elephant is dead, it is an amazing opportunity for a lot of other animals to benefit from it. So even though it's sad, there is some good things about it. These animals like the hyenas and the flies that are here that lay their eggs, and the maggots feed off this, as well as things like jackals and leopard and all kinds of... Look, the hyenas are chasing the other one. So I was saying that they'll chase the other ones away sometimes when it's not a high-ranking member. And so they chase it off and they say, right, you're not welcome here. This is our elephant for now, until they've had enough food. Once they've had enough, then they will let these lower-ranking individuals come back to the carcass. But it's amazing to watch how they go about it. You can see that one hyena is almost starting to get a little bit of a blind eye now, and is going to have difficulty seeing out of it. And it's pretty typical in hyenas. You see older hyenas having eyes like this, where one eye starts to kind of look a bit milky and doesn't work as well. Now, don't go biting there. You've been very well behaved so far. Hyenas are busy staring, so you can see there's a little camera that is going to be on this elephant all the time, so you can all watch it any time of the day. And this hyena is just checking it out, just seeing what's inside there. We've noticed something a little bit different, and so that will be able to show you what happens here all night long, which is very, very cool. Hello, girl. Now, our hyenas are going to continue eating here. We're going to see if maybe some more hyenas come, or maybe some lions or something like that. And while we wait and be patient, let's send you back to Brent, who's been patient with the lions all day, and it seems they're starting to wake up.
And it looks like our patience is starting to pay off. Now, with lions, what they do before they get moving, they start licking and maybe start licking each other, and they start being very friendly, but they normally start licking themselves first. So we've got to hope that this one stops licking only itself and starts licking some of its friends as well, because then they might get moving properly, and we might see them moving off on the hunt even. Or would not that be very exciting? I don't know. I'm very excited. I don't know about you guys. We never know what's going to happen next. Now I just need to talk on the game drive radio quickly. Standing by, Shell. last information I heard, it was close to Yuri's Kaya, so between Inga's and Yuri's Kaya. Apparently there's also a large herd of buffalo that's just arrived at the dam. Okay, so what's happened is when animals like monkeys see lions or leopards, they start shouting. They go, and what they're doing is going, everybody, there's a lion, be careful. Everybody, there's a leopard, be careful. Run, hide, they're trying to eat you. So that's what one of our friends who's at our camp has told us. So I've told the other game drives to go there because there could be a lion, another lion, one of the male lions. It could be another leopard right near our camp. Isn't that also very exciting? Now the fact that there's a big head of buffalo near our camp, which is like lion lollipops, means that these lions might move straight towards that direction. They are less than a mile from where we live at the moment. There we go. Now, remember I was telling you about other animals shouting? That means there's a kudu, which is a type of antelope, going "Poo! Poo!" And he's saying lion or leopard as well. And you can see how the lions went to sleep. That was just Sebastian, though.
Sorry.
Bless you, Sebastian. But now the lions went from asleep to awake. Charles. As kudu alarm calling and on the western edge of quarantine where that little 2-track goes. They've just started alarming now. Oh, can you guys hear that? So that means there's other lions or maybe even leopards very close by. Now you can see how the lions have gone from fast asleep to completely awake. Now, sorry, I was listening so carefully to what all the animals in the bush were telling me. I missed a question from you guys. Now, I'm not sure which lion Keely was looking at, but one of them has a red spot by its eye, and Keely would like to know, how did it get hurt? Keely, well, it probably got hurt fighting with other lions. So lions will fight amongst each other. They've got very bad manners when it comes to dinner, and they will whack each other and jump on each other and snarl at each other and bite each other. Now we'll see there's another lion who's got a sore on her back leg, and I'm not sure, I think that was from a buffalo, or we're not sure.
That's what we assumed.
We think it was from hunting buffalo. So buffalo are very big animals, and the lions will sometimes get hurt trying to get their dinner. And it's not as easy as it is for us when we pop down to the grocery store to get dinner. Well, where we live, we don't go to the grocery store. The grocery store comes to us. So it gets sent out to us because we live so far from town. You can see how they're listening carefully. I'm also listening carefully. The lions are also listening carefully, because if the leopard catches something, the lions, being bigger than the leopard, will go steal it from it if it is a leopard. So everyone's listening carefully now. I hope you guys are listening carefully as well. Now, we are very lucky that we get to spend a lot of time very close to lots of different animals. And there we go. I know, Mrs. Martinez, I'm probably about 10 feet from the lions right now. So they're right next to us, but we are completely safe in the vehicle. They don't see us as a human being. They just see a big car that smells of petrol or gas, as you call it in the States, and oil and stuff like that. So if you drive carefully and respectfully, you can get very close to these amazing animals. The lions are all listening. Okay, well, I'm going to see what happens next with these lions. They might go looking for dinner, but Tristan's hyenas have already got theirs, even though it's a bit smelly.
Now, those lions moving about hopefully might head in this direction. Wouldn't it be exciting if the lions headed here and tried to chase these hyenas off? You can see the hyenas are still busy feeding, and they'll keep feeding until those bellies are so stretched that they're not going to be able to put another single piece of meat inside there. So they'll keep feeding and feeding and feeding, and then what they're going to do is they're going to move off and they're going to lie down very close by, and then when they have digested and they've used a bit of that meat, then they'll come back in and they're going to feed again. So it's going to be a process where they're going to go back and forth, and then when the morning comes and the sun comes up, then you'll find they'll go all the way back to wherever their babies are and their cubs, to try and then start to suckle them and to make sure that those little cubs get some nutrients as well. So it's a very cool thing for hyenas when they've got a big kill like this, because they can come back and forth. And look, can you hear her crunching? What she's doing is she's basically trying to use the side of her mouth. With hyenas and even things like lions and leopard, they've got a mouth that's designed with very sharp teeth in front that you all know, that look like big pointy teeth. There you can see one of them on the bottom right there. And now those are called canines. Now the canines are no good for when they're trying to eat like this. So what it's trying to do is it's trying to turn its head, and it's trying to use the teeth that are on the side of the mouth that are called carnassials. And so those teeth are like little triangles, and they've got little edges to them, and they almost act like a saw. And so when this animal closes its mouth and it bites down, those triangular teeth on the bottom and the top jaw cut little pieces of meat and skin off, and that's how they actually get it in. So they're not using their canines anymore, those big teeth. Those big teeth are when they're trying to grab an animal or trying to kill an animal. This is for when they're feeding, is those teeth actually get in the way. And it's now time to turn their heads to the side to try and use those teeth on the sides of the mouth to be able to get the food that they need. So Nora, the reason the hyenas have spots on them is for camouflage more than anything else. So spots help a hyena to blend into its environment. When we say camouflage, what we're saying is it's able to hide away and is able to kind of blend and to make it difficult for others to see. Remember, hyenas are also a predator, even though they scavenge, and scavenge means that they come and they eat already dead animals. But even though they are that mostly, they can also hunt. And so if they were brightly colored and they were, let's say, a bright pink color, they wouldn't be able to get close to the animals. The animals would see them before they get close, and they wouldn't be able to hunt as well. So they have these spotted patterns that just help break the kind of color of them, and they blend in much better with those spots. The interesting thing with hyenas, though, is as they get older, their spots start to fade. So if you look at the youngest one in this group, you can see, look at how bright and black those little spots are in the one that is second from us. So there, that one there, look how bright those spots are. And then if you look at the one in the front, her spots are very faded. Look, you see they faded a little bit. So as time goes, their spots fade and they start to lose a little bit of coloration. Now, well, I was talking about the teeth on this hyena, and my friend Tayla, who's also out and about, well, she's not out and about, she's actually in a tent, is in a little place where we have skulls, and maybe she can show you the teeth of this particular animal.
Maybe I can. Hello everybody, my name is Tayla and on camera with me today is Craig. Now, we were attacked by some nasty little gremlins that wouldn't let us stay out in the car. So we've come into the tent, which is really quite cool. Now, I've got lots and lots of different things to show you. Seeing as though Tristan was talking about the teeth of a hyena, and you've been watching them eat the elephant's skin, maybe even some bones. Do you think, I have a question for all the children watching today. Do you think a hyena would be able to bite through this tortoise shell? What do you think? Let us know. Yes or no? You can tell your teachers, and then we'll try and talk about it a little bit. But that's quite strong. We've even got another one over here. This is from a smaller species of tortoise. This is called a spixed hinge tortoise. And we've been seeing lots and lots of them at the moment. So why it's called a hinge tortoise... I've got to turn it around because that side was chewed off. Look over there. You see that? They can actually close it and completely hide their legs away. Whereas this tortoise, the leopard tortoise, which is the largest species of tortoise we get here in South Africa, doesn't have that feature. But if I just turn it slightly to the side, you can see here is the openings. So, very cool, eh? This is the back part. And this is the front of the shell. So, when something does try to come around to a tortoise and it wants to eat it, it will do this. And hide itself. It'll bring its legs in. It'll put its legs around its head and protect itself. And its legs are very, very tough with hard sort of scales on them. Very, very tough skin. And that will try and stop anything trying to eat them. From hyenas, from birds, from lions. But do you think that those predators can get their teeth through this very, very hard shell? You can see these ones are quite old, so the scoots, the actual bits and pieces of the shell, let's see if I can pull one off. Shall we see? It doesn't need them anymore. Ah, here we go. Look at that. Now it looks like a shell from the beach. Don't you think? That's so cool. It's so pretty. We may have to even try and put it under the microscope, I think, so we can have a little look. Let me see what it looks like, because I think it's going to be very pretty. Rebecca, are you trying to talk to me? Because I can't hear you. Rebecca's directing. Let's look here. Let's have a little look. Wait. No, that's not going to work at all. Oh, it's not as pretty as I thought it was going to be. We're going to have a look under the microscope. How cool is this toy? Try and get it all sharp. Oh, I thought it was going to be a lot prettier now. And you can see there's lots of bumps and grooves in the scoots. So that's what we call this part of the tortoise, this shell. And normally if you count them very carefully, you can actually tell how old a tortoise is. But it all depends on, well, the hot and cold months. So normally when it's winter, it will go down, and when it's summer, it starts to go up again. So you can count the seasons, which is pretty cool, don't you think? But there's something else I have under the microscope for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this away very quickly, and we're going to put the other really cool thing. I'm going to try and be as gentle as possible. There's lots of cool things. So remember, I'm still waiting for an answer from all of you if you think that the hyenas are able to crush through the skull. Look at what we've got on the screen. Look at that. Let me see if I can get a little bit sharper. Not that way. That way. Got to be very careful, very gentle. Oh, I'm not very good at focusing. Those are ants. Now, these ants, you can see, are very, very busy, and they're eating something. I'm not going to show you what they're eating just yet, but look at how powerful they are. Now, I'm sure most of you know that for ants, for their size, are very, very strong, much stronger than you and I, and can pick up big creatures and pull them around. Now, I can't wait to show you what those ants actually look like when they're not under the microscope. You'll be shocked. Oh, there's a big soldier. See that big one coming through there? And they are nibbling away at this creature. Look at this. I don't want to touch it. But Craig, maybe you can come on in here. Let me hold that up and look at that. Can you guess what that is? I bet you're all thinking it looks like a frog. Hey, it is a frog. It's definitely a frog. And it used to have its you can see that it used to have skin on it, but the ants have cleaned it up. So they're just going to leave the skeleton. Look at that. That's going to be really cool to see just a frog skeleton, maybe in a few more days. And now you can also see how tiny those ants are. But they look really cool under the microscope, didn't they? I'm going to put them back because the ants are not going to be happy with me. And then all of you from Lewis Elementary said that predators would crush through the skull. You're quite right. So yes, a hyena would definitely be able... I don't know where it went. I can't put the puzzle together. There we go. That's a bit better. So they're able to crush through, and I think that's maybe what happened here, or maybe even a big bird with a really big beak, like a southern ground hornbill, would have maybe broken through the shell and then eaten the tortoise. So not all the predators can get through here, but some of them can. So tortoises unfortunately aren't even safe in their homes. Right, off you go to Brent. Those lions are starting to wake up.
Changed from color into black and white, and that's because we're using a special light called an infrared light that enables us to see the lions without putting spotlights on them, so we don't affect them when they go on their nightly hunt. Now, it is a very exciting time. As you can see, the lions are starting to get up and groom, and they're getting ready to head out on their nightly adventure. And you can listen to how different the sounds of the bush sound as it gets darker. Now, at night, lions are the big bosses of the bush, and they're able to hunt things, Caleb, and they catch their food by jumping on them and then biting their throats to suffocate them so they can't breathe. So that's how lions catch their food. Not very nice if you're lions' food, but lions have to eat like everything else. As I was saying earlier, they can't just pop down to the grocery store. It's a very exciting time of the day when the lions are about to get moving. Can see all the grooming. They're grooming each other, making sure everyone is still friends before they go hunting. Now, normally they would, if they weren't so hungry, they might be a little bit playful and chase each other around a bit, but because they're very, very hungry, they don't want to use any excess energy. So if you haven't had any food, you know how tired you can get. So the lions are like that, and they've still got to go catch their food. So it's going to be a busy night for them. Our lions have a very diverse amount of animals that they will hunt. Music of Old Yonder, and sometimes they will hunt rhino. Very unlikely for them to hunt an adult rhino, but a sub-adult or young rhino that's been separated from their mother, a lion will attempt. I have seen it before in the Kruger, lions killing a sub-adult rhino and I've even seen them jump on top of a baby rhino, but mom was there and chased them off. So yes, lions will hunt rhino, but it is not very common. Now, lion prides are quite unique in the fact that the female prides like this will all be made up of related animals, Miss M. So it won't be only siblings. There's only one little male here, and so it's made up of mostly of aunties, moms, and sisters, and one little brother, nephew, or son, depending on which lioness you are. Now, I can hear, because I can only see what the camera is looking at, that some of the lions are getting moving, so I'm just going to move the car quickly. Anything behind us, Seb?
No, you're good.
I'm good. Okay, well, we're gonna just try and get round this big tree in front of me. Now, I'm driving in the dark, it's quite scary. But while I get around, let's go across to Tristan, who's got another beautiful little predator.
Well, we have a side-striped jackal that is busy running away from us at the moment, and unfortunately that's all we're going to get to see of that little jackal, because jackals can sometimes be a little bit shy and a little bit nervous, and so when they see us they can just trot away. But beautiful animal, and maybe it's heading down towards the elephant. We've left that elephant carcass now as we heard some alarm calls and we wanted to try and come and see what's going on. Maybe it was the jackal that caused that, but I don't think so. So we're going to just have a little look and see what's going on and see how things are going. And that was a nice little surprise for us to see. Now, while I try and quickly have a little look around for these alarm calls and see what's going on, let's send you back across to Tayla in the tent.
None. Look at this big animal with big teeth. When you look at it, you probably think it must be a lion, it must be a hyena. But it's not. It's not any of them. Look. Can you guess? We don't have much time to guess, though, so you're going to have to be very, very quick if you do. Who's going to get it first? Let's see how many people are going to send their answers on through. Like I said, it can come apart. Very, very big teeth, but not a lion or a leopard or a hyena. It's something a little bit different. You can see, look how big the brain cavity is, so it must be an animal that's very intelligent, very good at problem solving. Very cool. It's a very creepy looking skull, don't you think? I think so. I get a little bit nervous when I see it. It looks a little bit better when it's got fur on it. Also, they've got big eyes. Look at that socket. It's empty now. Perfect. Okay, well, we'll see. Now, here's another thing that also lives in a shell, seen as though we were looking at the snails. No, we were looking at the tortoises. This is a snail shell. This is an African land snail. Now, they're really quite cool, and we've been seeing them because we've had a little bit of rain. But unfortunately, they are invasive species. They are not great to have around. Ooh. Oh! Lewis Elementary, you've guessed either a rhino or a dinosaur. Close. Close, but not quite. This is, in fact, a baboon skull. Has anyone ever seen a baboon before? Brent was making the calls of the vervet monkey a little while ago. Now, this is a Chukma baboon, and they're really, really big. They've got the biggest teeth. Their canines are even bigger than the lions. So you've seen those lions opening their mouths and doing a big yawn. You'll see that these guys are bigger. Look how big it is in comparison to my arm. Let me show you. Look at that. If a baboon were to bite me, they'd bite straight through. very sharp as well. Now, they don't normally use these to eat meat. Sometimes the baboons will eat meat, but they mainly eat fruit and leaves and flowers and all the grass. But I'll tell you about that next time. Off you go back to Brent to see what those lions are up to.
Well, the lions are starting to move off slowly. You can see they're disappearing now. They're going to go find themselves some dinner. It's been absolutely wonderful having all of you guys on drive with us. Hopefully we will have another special school drive for you soon. And I really enjoyed having all your questions. You're such a clever class. Oh, bless you, lion. The lion sneeze as well, just like Sebastian did a bit earlier. But hopefully for these hungry lions, they're going to be able to catch a buffalo for themselves tonight. And so tomorrow morning they'll be happy and healthy and well fed. And of course you never know what will happen next in the African bush. So goodbye to all of you, and as I said, hopefully see you on a special school safari soon.